Happening now, the driver of a wrong-way vehicle accused of killing a Cattaraugus man has been indicted, the latest in the case. Plus, early voting kicked off over the weekend. We're breaking down where and when you can cast your ballot.
Well, it's not kind of feeling like fall out there, but we're going to have that fall air returning for the middle of the week, plus rain. We'll talk about it in detail next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
A Chautauqua County grand jury has indicted a Georgia woman in connection with a fatal wrong-way crash on Interstate 86 in the town of North Harmony in July. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. A Chautauqua County court clerk telling us that 32-year-old Heather Capel was indicted on October 15th on charges of second-degree vehicular manslaughter, reckless causes of death, and driving while ability impaired by the combination of drugs. Capel was taken into custody by Erie, PA police after she was treated for injuries sustained in the crash at an Erie hospital. She was then, deputies report, arraigned as a fugitive from justice in Erie County Court and has since been remanded to the custody of the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office. The crash happened around 5 a.m. after a wrong-way driver hit a vehicle traveling west on that highway. 51-year-old Bardley Wakefield of Cattaraugus suffered fatal injuries as a result of the collision. And a Jamestown man pleaded guilty to a reduced charge for his alleged role in the July 2020 fatal stabbing of 23-year-old Brandon Holland on North Main Street here in Jamestown. A public defender telling us that 28-year-old Carl Swanson pled guilty to second-degree manslaughter. That's a Class C felony in county court Friday. Sorensen was previously indicted on a charge of second-degree murder. He admitted to, quote, reckless behavior as part of the agreement, that according to the public defender. The attorney telling us that the deal was a good deal for his client. The defender's office and Cattaraugus County District Attorney's Office, who served as a special prosecutor in that case, agreed to an intermediate sentence of 5 to 10 years behind bars. Sorensen will receive credit for time served. New York State Republican Committee Chairman Nick Langworthy is urging voters to vote against a series of proposed amendments on the state ballot this November. There are 5 proposals that voters can decide on in the 2021 election. These would make changes to the state's redistricting process, including capping the number of state senators at 63, which is the current number of state senators. It would also allow for same-day voter registration and allow voters to get an absentee ballot without reason. Langworthy previously argued that the ballot proposals could compromise the integrity of future elections.
We need people to be aware that this is going on. There's very little media coverage of it. Certainly the left, they're not talking about it because they just assume people will vote yes. We need to vote no on these important issues.
The voting process became a hot-button issue following the 2020 election after former President Donald Trump claimed the election had been stolen. There have been calls for forensic investigations of the electoral process in several states, including PA, but so far no evidence of widespread voter fraud has been reported. Well, early voting kicked off over the weekend here in Chautauqua County with an additional polling place in downtown Jamestown. Our Alana Wingate joins us live in studio with more on this new location and the importance of expanding access. Alana?
That's right, Justin. The Robert H. Jackson Center will be open through Sunday for early voting, something the Chautauqua County Board of Election leaders say will provide more accessibility to those in Jamestown. As Republican Election Commissioner Brian Abram tells us, the new addition is the result of voting regulations.
New York State law clearly states that you have to be in the highest populated density area of your county. City of Jamestown is the highest population density. So starting this year, the new law clearly states that's where you have to have at least one of your early voting sites.
He says the planning process started a few years ago. However, this is the first time the site was used.
We went into the city of Jamestown and we created a partnership with the Jackson Center, and it'll be our first year there to try to service obviously that area.
With the increase in locations, the county's Democratic commissioner hopes this will not only bring more accessibility to those looking to cast their ballots, but also speed things up.
Overall, we're anticipating about 30% this year turnout between early voting and election day.
Those with questions about voting could call the Board of Elections office or visit them online.
Direct them to the Chautauqua County Board of Elections website. We have the days and hours.
Polls are open from noon to 8 p.m. today and Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wednesday through Friday, and then again noon to 5 p.m. next Saturday and Sunday. Those who don't vote early can vote in person at their regular polling sites on Tuesday, November 2nd. In addition to the Jackson Center, early voting is happening at the Board of Elections office in Mayville and in Chautauqua County's Fairgrounds in Dunkirk and the Chautauqua Mall in Lakewood. Live in studio, Alana Wingate, WNY News Now.
Jamestown area residents hit the streets over the weekend to raise awareness to World Polio Day and the new push to eradicate the disease worldwide. The Pedaling for Polio event happened at McCray Point Park this Saturday. It was hosted by 3 local Rotary clubs, and its main mission to raise awareness and funds to ultimately destroy polio worldwide. The Jamestown scene saw just under 10 riders cycling for many miles in the cold October weather. One of the riders included Kevin Sixby, president of the Jamestown Rotary Club, who wants to see polio eradicated. Sixby says World Polio Day, which was on Sunday, has helped raise awareness and funding to bring an end to the disease, an illness that he says is almost gone worldwide.
We're nearly there. I mean, we've been talking for a few years. We're this close. And unfortunately, the 2 countries where polio is still an issue are areas where there is a lot of socio-political issues. And it'll just...
The collective goal of the district is to raise $60,000 to end the disease. The event was brought to be by the combined efforts of the Rotary Club of Jamestown, the Greater Jamestown AM Rotary Club, and the Falconer Rotary Club. The groups have similar events planned in the future. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comment section down below. We always love to hear from you. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And boy, we got lots of sunshine out there today, Dakota.
Well, it's kind of deceptive. We have sunshine across the eastern areas, clouds across the western area. So the Randolph Peaches and Cream Sky Cam shows you some peaks in those cloud cover right now, 65 with a healthy southwest wind of 11. But look at the satellite and radar composite. Notice the clouds on the western side of the state. And then as it kind of moves on out to the east, we're in this hole across the southern tier, the eastern southern tier. But clouds are going to be thickening up today from west to east out ahead of the rain that you see peeking in on some of that satellite imagery. We have a warm front pushing through. So this warm front is pushing temperatures into the 60s today. But behind that, we see our next system, which brings in our next chance of rain, which is really this afternoon through much of this week. So it's going to be kind of a wet week, but it's October. It's supposed to be wet. 50 and 47 were the high and lows today. Well, the high yesterday was 50. 78 and 20 are the record highs and lows for this day. So through the afternoon, mostly cloudy to complete overcast. Showers develop through the afternoon, and it will be breezy, 61 to 68 with a south wind. Some wind gusts could be 20, 25 miles per hour. So you might need a light jacket out there with some of those wind gusts. Now, it'll be a wet day tomorrow, but we do see a few dry days this week. We'll tell you about it with that 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
Yeah, everybody looking for a break from that rain. It seemed like it rained all weekend long, and you'll let us know coming up in 10 minutes' time. Well, we're learning more about the deaths of 3 pit bulls in northeast Pennsylvania. Officials with the Anna shelter say the dogs were found in the lake at Eaton Reservoir last week. Keelan Berrien with our news partner Erie News Now has more on where the investigation stands.
Officer Duckett shows me where he found 3 pit bulls dead.
So the first 2 dogs that we knew of when I arrived, the first one was right over here and the second one was about 10 feet further. And then after we had collected our evidence and were getting ready to leave, we were just flashing our lights on the water, and that's when we saw another dog.
People come to Eaton Reservoir for recreation, including a small group of fishermen who found the dead pit bulls in the water, all shot in the snout. Officer Eric Duckett, a humane officer with the Anna shelter, is investigating.
They had already confirmed that the dogs had been shot and killed, so I was called out to assist the dogs, help collect evidence, collect the dogs, and then go from there with our investigation.
Evidence shows the dogs were wearing collars that are used in dog fighting.
We're working with other more well-known national organizations that have more to do with dog fighting on a national level.
Duckett says he doesn't see animal cruelty to this extent in a public area. He says it usually happens in homes.
That doesn't mean it's not happening, it's just not talked about.
Keelan, thank you. The officer is still searching for suspects involved in that case. He says if you have any information to call him or the Anna Shelter, you can find those numbers posted on our website, WNYNewsNow.com. Well, President Joe Biden pushed his agenda during a Sunday breakfast meeting with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Joe Manchin at his home in Delaware. A White House official saying the gathering's goal was to try to come to an agreement on a major economic and climate package. A readout of the meeting says it was, quote, productive discussion and that progress was made. A source says the White House wants to vote on the bipartisan infrastructure package within the next few days. Biden is calling on Democrats to come to terms to a deal before he heads off to Europe this week. Now, Manchin is among the few Democrats to voice significant concerns about the package and did get the bill trimmed down a bit. Well, coming up next, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell joining us live to talk about a new program available to help those access affordable broadband. And later, we head off to the town of Carroll to recognize the area's history and how it brings a smile every day. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Located along the Amish Trail, the Randolph Retail Company offers a variety of clothing, jewelry, and gifts for any occasion. Offering uptown merchandise at small-town prices, our locally owned business balances quality and value. With complimentary gift wrap here at the Randolph Retail Company, we pride ourselves in personal service. Check out our Facebook page or stop in today at 127 Main Street, Randolph, just a 20-minute drive from Jamestown.
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
A new federal program to help lower the cost of broadband service to families across not just Chautauqua County, but the nation now underway. Here locally, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell met last week with mayors and town supervisors to discuss the emergency broadband benefit. He joins us live now on the program to talk more about how it will increase accessibility in places like Jamestown. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
first off, how much money is available, and what specifically is this funding supposed to cover?
Well, there's several $billion available nationwide. As a member of the IAC, Intergovernmental Advisory Committee on Broadband and Telehealth, we were made aware of this and realized that the monies were still there and actually quite underutilized. So again, we wanted to make sure that residents of not only Jamestown but surrounding areas were made aware of this. I know in several meetings we've had with Mayor Sundquist, his concern was for the affordability of internet access, especially in the city of Jamestown, but also in our metropolitan areas outlying, the villages of Falconer, Lakewood, Celeron, Fredonia as well, and also the city of Dunkirk. So I think this program is readily available. Again, very much underutilized, and encourage everybody to reach out. When you have a qualifying criteria, this is available for a great many people here in Chautauqua County.
Yeah, and that's my next question is how can families take advantage of this funding? Is there a specific place that they would need to apply to?
If you go to getemergencybroadband.org, there's an application online, and find the participating providers near you. And after you apply, you'll then be contacting a participating provider to select an eligible plan. If you need to, you can call 1-833-511-0311. Again, 833-511-0311. But also to go to that getemergencybroadband.org, through the FCC. I was at an intergovernmental council that we've started now between Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Chautauqua County here along the Lake Erie shoreline. And Pennsylvania has tapped into this greatly already. So, we want to make sure that as we got the information from the FCC during my meetings with them, then make it available and affordable to our residents.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question, is the fact that the money isn't just limited to those here in Chautauqua County, New York State, but elsewhere. I know we have some viewers in Pennsylvania. They are able to take advantage of this as well. Correct.
This is it's a nationwide program, and we encourage everybody, especially with the affordability of internet. This would be a means for families to qualify to have it a little bit more affordable and not such a burden on their monthly household expenses.
Yeah. I know you have been pretty vocal in trying to get internet access, A, affordable, and B, in some places just to implement it. What role did you have in securing this funding and advocating for the internet accessibility here in our area?
Well, the funding has been made in part by the FCC, but it's through the IAC committee that I'm on that, expresses our concerns and need for broadband. Some of us remember 20, 30 years ago, maybe now, that, the internet was still, when you went on, your family landline was busy, and, you got a monthly bill based on the minutes that you were on the internet. Now it's become, as we've all said it, this is far and wide. The president and chairman of our committee is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they'll tell you that whether it's Sioux Falls, Chautauqua County, anywhere amongst our representatives, that broadband has now become essential. This isn't a matter of an option or even a luxury, but it's really essential service when it came to. We saw that last year during the school year. Places I know I've heard of, having to put a hotspot in school buses and driving out to remote parts of our county or neighboring counties to provide that service. So, my goal has been in my administration to get broadband throughout Chautauqua County, where currently we don't have these connections, but also to enhance the services and make it affordable for those who qualify in our metropolitan areas. So, we were instrumental in giving our feedback and making sure that the funding then becomes available to all those who are eligible.
Yeah, and there is that two-pronged push when you look at it, the affordability for people who already have it, say in Jamestown, Falconer, Lakewood. But then as you go farther out, I know there are parts of the town of Bustye, Panama, some rural areas where, you can get internet access, but it's very, very poor. And as you mentioned, during COVID, people needed to get online. That's still continuing today. People struggling to make that connection. Is there anything that this funding or something else could be used to try to expand that connectivity across rural areas?
Well, certainly, Justin. If you remember, part of our ARPA funding, we've allocated $2.5 million, which is, a small amount, but again, will increasing as the need arises to get that broadband out to those communities who are underserved. We've met with Windstream, we've met with DFT Communication. We have a great deal of coverage now, but how do we expand that coverage and make it affordable to everyone? And there's a lot of different possibilities as far as connectivity, whether it's fiber line to the house in some instances or to a Wi-Fi transmitter where we can get it, through Wi-Fi to the homes. But, we are working together, partnering with our providers, getting this out to our residents. So, and as we go through, again, one of the pieces that I've been, pushing through in my administration is, the quality of life. And we're looking at more and more people leaving those larger metropolitan hubs of New York City and Pittsburgh and Cleveland to an area like Chautauqua County and our beautiful area that we can relax in, but also be able to work remotely. So the more we can provide, the more we have people living in Chautauqua County, providing, the tax base and sales tax revenue, et cetera, but working in somewhere like the Pacific Northwest or the Midwest or even, the West Coast and being able to travel, quarterly or monthly as needed. So I feel, this is one of the tasks we started way back when we first heard of, infrastructure funding, in the form of, what the ARPA funding came as. If you remember, they really focused on water, sewer, and broadband when ARPA was first discussed. It really wasn't even ARPA. It was just called a rescue plan or, state federal funding. But along with this, now we also have the infrastructure bill that, they're trying to pass in Washington. So again, should those monies be allocated and start to, expand, then we could use the ARPA money for other projects and focus infrastructure projects, monies rather, on these infrastructure designated projects. So it's a win-win for everybody in Chautauqua County, but it is a commitment of my administration to, move forward and get more broadband and expanding that throughout the county.
Yeah, so I know that the legislature voted on that to move forward with the ARPA plan. We're almost sort of have to stay tuned for that infrastructure to see what else we could get. But final moments we have here together, what is next in that process of actually saying, okay, let's come up with a plan, let's work with, say, somebody like DFT or Windstream to try to roll out better connectivity and for some, just connectivity in general?
Well, so we've sat down and met with both. We have a broader expansion of DFT's plan and how much it covers. We have to sit down again with Windstream. They're a larger group, so takes a little while longer to get the information back. So when we do that, what's unique about this is the county is involved in expanding a process where we won't have any assets at the end of the expense of our funding. And for example, when most things that we do in the county, if we were going to expand, let's say, our radio service, we have towers, we have hardware, we have mobile units. Here, we're investing in something that we don't have those tangible assets, under the county's, purview. So a unique situation. It's something new to the area, but something we're definitely committed to. So we're going to sit down and continue to work. As you'll hear on Wednesday, the ARPA funding the resolutions have come in. And, we put the infrastructure plans on the second tranche of money, that, second $12.3 million, in the hopes that we would have an infrastructure bill coming out of Washington with a little bit of clarity so we know where we can utilize infrastructure monies for and where the ARPA funding can be turned around and put into other programs.
Yeah, so certainly we'll stay tuned for updates. Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, Justin.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Okay, let's start off this weather segment by taking a look at the viewer pictures. This came in from Sean Sweatman over the weekend. On Saturday, he was at the Frewsburg Overlook, and you can see some of that fall foliage color that's occurred. And again, some of the colors are still a little bit muted, obviously because we had that warm October so far, but we have had some cooler nights. So if you have any pictures or videos of the weather, Hunters WX on Twitter, the First Defense Weather page on Facebook, and always use that hashtag MyLocalWX. And it was a wet weekend here. Take a look at some of these rainfall totals here. Jamestown at a little more, close to a inch worth of rainfall there, more than inch in Kennedy, and Frewsburg a little more than half an inch worth of rainfall there. So again, it was a rainy weekend as we told you, so that should not have been a surprise to anybody that it actually did turn a little bit wet for the weekend. 62 right now with a southwest wind of 16, so there still is a breeze in the air, and it still is relatively mild for this time of the year. Again, the average high this time of the year is usually in the mid 50s, and the rain is going to continue here. Look at this, today and tomorrow, basically through the afternoon we're going to see rain showers, then tomorrow more rain. Wednesday and Thursday is looking like the two driest days of the week so far, and then by the time we go into the end of the week, into the weekend, wouldn't you know it, rain returns. So this is what we talked about during first weather, a warm front moving on through. So that's why temperatures are warmer today. This is all out ahead of the next system that comes our way. So there's going to be some rain showers returning by the afternoon and tomorrow. Wanted to mention this very quickly because it's interesting. This is what's being termed a bomb cyclone. There is no such meteorological term. It's a made-up term. What this is called an atmospheric river. Notice the stream on the satellite imagery going right into California and this big old bombogenesis right up here in the Northwestern Pacific. So that's big-time rain there. Again, droughts never end nice. They always end in a deluge. That's just the way droughts end. They never end cleanly. So unfortunately, more rain out there for them. But around here, we've got the rain around here now. And through the afternoon hours, could be some moderate to heavy pockets of rainfall through the afternoon hours. Maybe a couple rumbles of thunder this evening. Then we'll see more widespread rain showers overnight. That'll continue through the day tomorrow. And then the rain actually should start to taper off by the time we go into Wednesday. So it's not going to be all that bad by the time we go into Wednesday. So temperatures across the inland areas likely lower 60s today, a warmer afternoon, but still a little bit wet. Now the next 7 days are coming up. 54 on Wednesday. Thursday, the sun returns in plentiful supply. Friday, a few more showers, and then the weekend turning a bit wet at this point. Halloween, not sure on the exact trick-or-treating hours yet, but it does look like showers are going to be intermittent for the day. We'll take a break. Be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
A push to preserve history in the town of Carroll took place over the weekend. Our Bronson Rasmussen with more on the two sites receiving recognition.
The Carroll Historical Society unveiled 2 new historical plaques at the Frew Home and the Happy Face Barn Saturday afternoon. The dedication of the plaques was an easy choice for the Historical Society due to the importance of the Frew Home, which was built in 1817 by the founders of Frewsburg.
The founders of this town who came here amidst a grove of white pine trees and thought that this would be a good location to settle and to raise a family.
The other plaque recognizes Marty Gage, an active community member, and his Happy Face Barn, which has turned into a staple of Frewsburg, says President Harold Bennett.
Everybody knows the Happy Face Barn as they come into town. It's kind of been known as the gateway into Frewsburg. So.
The barn was moved from its Jamestown location to Frewsburg in 1906. Then, in 1982, Martin Gage had artist Travis Johnson paint a happy face on the side of the barn, similar to one Gage saw in the Midwest. The Historical Society has cherished the history of the area and believes it should be known to everyone willing to learn.
There's a lot of history here in this town with Robert Jackson, Reuben Fenton, the Frew family. So our historical society takes a lot of pride into the history of our town, and we try to do our best to preserve and have this history recognized.
Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. The Historical Society plans to add more plaques around the area in the future. Well, that's it for us today. Of course, news continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com and on our free mobile app. Be sure to download it today in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Have a great day. We're back here tomorrow, live at noon.